You can't even do simple housework anymore. You're useless to us. I agree. Let's fire this housekeeper already. Finally, I can get rid of this old hag. These cruel words come from my husband, mother-in-law, and daughter. I'm sitting in a wheelchair while they stand in front of me, smirking, waiting for me to react. If you're going to treat me like this, I won't hold back anymore. You'll regret it, I say firmly. My name is Anna Taylor, and I'm 30 years old. I work as a freelance writer from home and also take care of the household. I got married 2 years ago and now live with my husband Jared, his teenage daughter Maya, and my mother-in-law. Jared is 5 years older than me. We met 3 years ago through a dating app and hit it off quickly since we both love movies. 6 months after we started dating, he proposed, and we got married soon after. However, there was one big challenge in our marriage, Maya. She's Jared's daughter from his previous marriage. When we got married, she was 10 years old, now a teenager. She doesn't accept me and seems to hate me. At first, she ignored me whenever I tried to talk to her. Now, she openly mocks me. For example, one day, she came home from after-school activities and threw her gym clothes at me. I need these tomorrow, so wash them, she demanded. Confused, I said, don't you have another set? These won't dry in time even if I wash them now. But she yelled, shut up and do it. If it's not ready tomorrow morning, I'll tell Dad and Grandma. Good luck. Then, she stormed off to her room. I ended up taking her clothes to the laundromat that evening. As I stood there waiting for them to dry, I felt a deep sense of sadness. I knew blending into this family would be hard, but I never imagined it would hurt this much. Maya, will you ever treat me normally? Even if I can't be your mother, I just want us to have a regular conversation, I thought to myself. Still, I tried to stay positive, hoping things would eventually improve. But Maya isn't my only problem. My mother-in-law dislikes me just as much. She's been cold toward me since the beginning of my marriage. When I returned home from the laundromat that night, she was waiting at the door. Where have you been? Why isn't dinner ready? She scolded. I'm sorry, the side dish is ready. I'll prepare the rest now, I replied. Don't make excuses. Were you out wasting time? She snapped. No, I had to take Maya's gym clothes to the laundromat, I explained. Oh, so now you're blaming Maya? You really love shifting the blame, don't you? I tried to defend myself, but she dismissed me. Just get dinner ready, Jared will be home soon, and Maya must be hungry. Yes, ma'am, I said quietly and went to the kitchen. This kind of treatment is common. My mother-in-law blames me for everything, no matter how small. It used to make me cry when I was newly married, but I've learned to tolerate it. Still, the emotional scars remain. What hurt me the most was being compared to my husband's ex-wife. Her name was Michelle, and my mother-in-law often compared me to her, saying things like, Michelle could have done this better. Michelle's cooking was delicious. She was a kind and caring wife. I wish Michelle would come back. According to Jared, Michelle cheated on him, which led to their divorce. I know my mother-in-law loves Jared deeply, so I don't understand why she keeps praising the woman who caused the divorce. If someone hurt my beloved child, I would probably dislike them, but I can't focus on that right now. I need to figure out how to get along with my mother-in-law and Maya. How can I live in this house and handle these relationships every day? It's hard, and it feels like a lot of pressure, but I'm determined to do my best for my husband, whom I love. I didn't complain to Jared about his mother or Maya. Instead, I asked him for advice on how we could get along better. One evening, I sat down with him and said, Jared, are you listening? Your mom and Maya scolded me again today. He barely looked up from his phone and replied, I'm listening. I keep telling you not to worry about them. I know, but we're living together now. We need to figure out how to get along. You should think about that too, I said, trying to make him understand. Still not looking away from his phone, he replied lazily. That's when I asked him seriously, please, I need your advice on this. I get it, they don't like me, but your mom keeps comparing me to Michelle. You know Michelle, right? She says Michelle was a better wife than me. She's always saying that. You need to understand how it feels from my side. I really want to have a good relationship with her. Jared replied, well, it'll work out eventually. Time will sort it out. That's not helpful. That's nonsense. I'm being serious here. He said, just try to get along with my mom and Maya, put in the effort, and it will work out. Jared patted my shoulder and said, good night, then pulled the covers over himself. I wasn't sure if he was actually asleep or just pretending. No matter how much I called his name, He didn't respond. The next morning, while I was making breakfast, Maya came down from her room. I handed her the gym clothes she had asked for. Here you go, Maya. These are the gym clothes you wanted from yesterday. Are you listening to me? I asked. Maya took the clothes and said, these are from yesterday. Shut up. I hear you. I'm ignoring you on purpose. Don't you get it? Ignore me? Couldn't you at least talk to me? What? You want me to say thank you or something? Maya sighed and grabbed the clothes from my hands. You're so annoying. You act like you're my mom. You shouldn't have married Dad. That's too much, Maya. Ugh, you're so irritating. You always make me so mad in the morning. I can't stand it. She didn't touch the breakfast I made but ate the bread my mother-in-law had bought. Then she made her grandmother go out to buy more food before leaving for school. I went to see her off, but she didn't even acknowledge me. I thought about eating the leftover breakfast, but when I got to the living room, I saw the dishes I had made were gone. Where are my dishes? I asked in confusion. Behind me, I heard a small laugh. It was my mother-in-law, smiling. Did you do this? Yes, it looked so bad, and Maya didn't want it, so I threw it away. Why would you do that? Terrible? You're the one who can only cook such bad food. It's your fault. No matter how much I tried to defend myself, my mother-in-law kept insulting me, attacking me without stopping. Later, she followed me to the grocery store, and a few hours after that, I had the worst experience of my life. On my way home from shopping, I got into an accident. I was rushed to the hospital by ambulance, and the doctors told me that my right leg was paralyzed. I would need a wheelchair for a while. Though my life wasn't at risk, I was hospitalized for a few days. The hospital must have contacted my family, because soon after, Jared, my mother-in-law, and Maya came to visit. I was in a wheelchair, and they stood in front of me. Did they come because they were worried? I was happy to see them and said, "Thank you all so much for coming." "Will your leg heal?" Jared asked, looking concerned. I smiled, though my heart wasn't in it. The doctor said it might get a little better, but I'll probably never walk without help again. I see. Well, I guess there's nothing we can do, Jared said, his tone changing. What do you mean? Thank you for everything, Anna. Thank you? Jared looked at me with a strange smile, and I felt confused, unsure of what he meant. He went on, "It was short, but I'm glad I married you. You did all the housework and took care of everything without complaining. You also gave us a lot of money to live on." "What are you talking about?" The atmosphere in the room had shifted. They were all smiling, but there was something unsettling about it. I could see it in their faces. As I sat in my wheelchair, feeling small in front of my husband, mother-in-law, and daughter, they each spoke in turn. "You can't even do housework anymore. You're useless to us now," my husband said coldly. "I agree. It's time to fire this housekeeper," my mother-in-law added. "Finally, I can say goodbye to this old hag," Maya shouted, with no care in the world. The words hit me like a ton of bricks, and I froze in shock. My legs shook with fear. Looking down at me, my husband gave his final blow. "I married you to take care of the house. Now that you're in a wheelchair, you're no longer of any use to me." I couldn't believe it. "Does this mean divorce?" "Thanks for taking care of everything. As soon as you leave the hospital, pack up your things and leave our house," he said. He pulled out the divorce papers, already filled out with his part, and slapped them down in front of me. Without waiting for a response, they turned and walked out of the room. The door closed behind them, and I could still hear their footsteps and laughter fading away. That was the moment I knew for sure. He never truly liked me. He married me to take care of his daughter, and that was all. I would never forgive any of them. I signed the divorce papers immediately and called my mother to explain everything. I asked her to take the papers to the city office for me. A few days later, after being discharged from the hospital, I left for my parents' house. I asked my parents to tell my in-laws that I had filed for divorce and to pack up my things. I went straight to my parents' house, telling myself I'd never see them again. I felt a bit relieved and decided to start a new life. 5 years later, I saw a familiar name, Jared, on my phone. I had forgotten to block his number. I didn't answer the call and deleted his contact from my phone. The next day, my former family showed up at my parents' house. When they saw me, they all dropped to their knees. Confused, I wondered what was going on. Then Jared suddenly looked up and started speaking. "Please help us." "What? What do you mean? Why are you asking me now?" "Anna, you're the only one I can rely on." "What's going on?" I need you to lend us some money, we can't survive without it. To summarize, Jared explained that for a while after I left, they had been living comfortably, but when Maya started private high school, things got tight financially. The problem was Maya had been stealing money from the house to buy whatever she wanted. On top of that, Jared's mother was using him to pay for her beauty treatments and luxury items. When their savings ran out, they started borrowing money but couldn't pay it back, so no one would lend them more. Now, the biggest issue was Maya's tuition. Her grades were so bad, she was close to being expelled, and they had to pay extra to keep her in school. Jared lowered his head to the ground, tears in his eyes, as he finished explaining. Please, please, you must have made a lot of money by now. I'm begging you, even just a little, please lend us some. His mother and Maya were also bowing, begging. I was disgusted. 5 years ago, they kicked me out after treating me horribly. Now they came back to me when they needed money. I could tell they were still just using me. I was so angry that, without thinking, I turned on the full set of the front door and sprayed them with water. What the hell are you doing? All three of them screamed at me again. Hey, what are you doing? It's freezing. Don't get carried away, you old hag. We're begging you for help. This is not how you ask for help. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I said what I had been feeling all along. Rely on me? I never asked you to rely on me. You used me when it was convenient. And now you want me to help you because you're in trouble? That's rich. How much more are you going to mock me? What? How dare you talk to me like that? We're in serious trouble. I don't care. I don't care if you're starving or what happens to you. Honestly, I'm glad you're struggling. You deserve this. I will never help you. Just deal with your mess yourselves. After that, I slammed the door hard. I locked it and cut them off completely. They stayed outside for a while, yelling and complaining. A neighbor, unable to stand it any longer, called the police. They were taken away for causing a disturbance. The news spread around the neighborhood, and eventually, it reached Jared's workplace. Embarrassed by the gossip, he ended up resigning. Since they couldn't pay Maya's school fees, she was forced to drop out. Now, the three of them are all working to pay off their debts. They still seem to cooperate, but whenever they get together, they blame each other for their problems. Their family bond is falling apart. From my perspective, that's exactly what they deserve. As for me, I'm still working from home, supported by my parents. My leg has improved, and I'm going through rehab to make a full recovery. I'm so grateful to my parents for taking me in after my divorce. From now on, I'm going to live my life to the fullest, for my parents and for myself.